You don't have to say a word for it to happen. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. Someone gets quieter. Someone else gets defensive. Another person suddenly feels the need to prove something. And you're left wondering, why do people feel threatened by me, even when I do nothing? This video will answer that fully, not vaguely, not motivationally, psychologically. By the end, you'll understand exactly what's happening beneath the surface and why this reaction has very little to do with you and everything to do with them. Most people believe intimidation comes from dominance, aggression, or loud confidence. That's wrong. Those things attract attention. But what actually threatens people is something much quieter. It's contrast. Human beings subconsciously rank themselves in every social environment. They scan for cues. Who is reactive? Who is seeking approval? Who is emotionally regulated? And the moment someone enters who doesn't play by those rules, someone who is calm, observant, self-contained, the system glitches. Your presence disrupts their internal hierarchy. You don't need to dominate to unsettle people. You only need to not need them. Here's the first psychological truth most people never hear. People are not threatened by your actions. They are threatened by what you represent. When you are grounded, composed, and internally anchored, you signal something dangerous to insecure minds. I don't require external validation to exist. That alone destabilizes people who survive on approval, attention, or comparison. Your silence removes the social mirrors they rely on. Most people regulate themselves by reading reactions, facial expressions, affirmations, emotional feedback. When you don't give that automatically, they are forced inward, and many people hate being alone with themselves. So they project. This is where dark psychology enters, not as manipulation, but as awareness. Projection is the mind's defense against discomfort. When someone feels uneasy around you, their psyche looks for a reason that preserves their self-image. Instead of asking, why do I feel inferior, exposed, or uncertain? They decide, you must be arrogant, cold, intimidating, judgmental. Not because you are, but because that story protects them from confronting their own insecurity. Your stillness becomes the screen they project onto. Here's the second truth. Calm is perceived as authority in a chaotic world. People who are emotionally unregulated experience calm as dominance, even when no dominance is intended. Why? Because calm signals emotional control, internal order, psychological self-trust, and those traits unconsciously place you above others in the social hierarchy. Not morally, energetically. You don't compete. You don't rush to speak. You don't explain yourself unnecessarily. That reads as power, and power, when unspoken, is threatening. Now let's address something important. If you've ever noticed people becoming passive-aggressive around you, trying to humble you as a joke, competing with you without reason, or withdrawing entirely, this isn't coincidence. This is what happens when someone feels outranked internally but doesn't know how to process it consciously. Instead of rising, they attempt to lower you through dismissal, distance, or subtle disrespect. That's not confidence reacting. That's insecurity protecting itself. Third truth, your presence exposes what others are avoiding. You don't have to judge anyone for this to happen. Exposure is not an action. It's a byproduct. When you are comfortable in your own skin, you remind people of the distance between who they are and who they could be. And that gap hurts. Some people use noise to avoid that pain. Some use busyness. Some use constant validation. Your quiet presence removes their escape, so they feel threatened, not by you, but by the self-awareness you trigger. Let's dismantle a common lie right now. You are not too intense. You are not too quiet. You are not hard to read in a way that needs fixing. Those labels are attempts to make your regulation feel like your responsibility. It isn't. Your job is not to perform comfort for others. Your job is to remain aligned with yourself. Now, here's the dark part most people don't tell you. Some individuals will never feel safe around you, not because you are dangerous, but because you are uncontrollable. They can't predict you emotionally. They can't hook you with praise or shame. They can't easily manipulate you. And for people who rely on psychological leverage, that is deeply unsettling. You are a variable they can't manage. So they call it intimidation. This is where many people make a mistake. They shrink. They soften their presence. They over-explain. They dim their awareness to make others comfortable. That is a form of self-betrayal, because the people who are meant to grow with you will not be threatened by your silence. They will respect it. The ones who are threatened were never aligned with you in the first place. Let's make this clear and grounded. You do not intimidate healthy people. You intimidate people who lack self-trust, people who outsource their identity, people who are avoiding growth. Your presence is not the problem, it's the mirror. So what do you do with this awareness? Nothing. That's the point. You don't weaponize your silence. You don't exaggerate it. You don't perform mystery. You simply remain centered. Because true psychological power is not in control, it's in non-reactivity. And non-reactivity exposes everything. If this message resonated, it's likely because you've lived it. You've felt the tension, the strange reactions, the unspoken resistance. Now you understand it. And understanding removes self-doubt. If this video gave you clarity, like it. If you've experienced this dynamic yourself, comment. Your insight may help someone else. And if you want more content that doesn't motivate you, but helps you see, subscribe. This channel isn't about being louder. It's about being aware. And awareness changes everything.